What do you remember of 2025? Well, here are 50 questions all about the events of the year. So, before we begin, be sure to have a pen and paper handy to note your scores, and remember, you can pause at any point if you need more time. Are you ready? Let's get started. Question 1. Facebook and Instagram owner Meta announced the end of what in January? Yes, the answer is fact-checking, which I'm sure is absolutely fine. Question 2. 2025 was the year of what animal according to the Chinese zodiac cycle? Yes, it was the year of the snake. Question 3 now. What comedy was released in 2025 starring that guy from Schindler's List and a former Baywatch lifeguard? Yes, it was The Naked Gun. It's a follow-up to the classic Leslie Nielsen movies of the 80s and 90s. Okay. Right, question 4. Which East Asian country elected its first female prime minister? It was Japan. Reportedly, she used to play drums in a heavy metal band. Nice. Right, question 5. 2025 saw the very first successful organ transplant to a human from which other animal? Yep, a pig. Crazy. Right, question 6. Which Amazonian city hosted the COP30 meeting? It was held in Belém, in Brazil. Okay. Question 7. Which tech giant saw their stock fall by over $500 billion after the release of the DeepSeek AI model? Yes, it was Nvidia. Well, never mind. Question 8. 2025 marks 100 years since Scottish inventor John Logie Baird demonstrated the first transmission of what? Yes, it was the first transmission of television images. Right, question 9. Who won the 2025 Ryder Cup? It was close at 15-13, but in the end, Team Europe prevailed. Right, question 10. In December, which company agreed to buy Warner Brothers film and streaming businesses for $72 billion? Yes, it was Netflix. At the time of recording, only the agreement had been made. Time will tell if the deal will actually go through. Okay. Right, question 11. A giant beverage set a world record in Tijuana, Mexico in July. What was the drink? It was a margarita. It was over 35,000 litres and took 142 gastronomy students over 10 hours to make. Well, thirsty work, I bet. Okay, question 12. Doge is an acronym of what? Yes, it stands for the Department of Government Efficiency. How's that coming along these days? Right, question 13. Scientific discovery now. Mum Z14, or Mum Z14, was discovered by the James Webb Telescope in 2025. What is it? It's a galaxy. It's the most distant galaxy ever discovered at over 13 billion light years away. Wow. Right, question 14. Which US late-night talk show host temporarily lost his job in September? Yes, it was Jimmy Kimmel. Indeed he did. Question 15. In May, who performed at a beach in Rio to over 2.5 million people? It was Lady Gaga. Okay, question 16. Who won the Super Bowl in February? Yes, it was the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, we have a follow-up question now. Question 17. Who performed at the Super Bowl halftime show? Yes, it was Kendrick Lamar. Alright, question 18. Which 2025 horror movie was told from the point of view of a pet dog? Yes, it was Good Boy. Bless. Okay, question 19. Back in January, which Korean president was arrested after a long standoff at the presidential compound? Do you remember? His name was Yoon Suk-yeol due to his impeachment following his illegal imposition of martial law. Right, question 20. By what name do we now know Cardinal Robert Provost? Yes, he's Pope Leo XIV. Right, question 21. Which Netflix miniseries earned itself 5 Primetime Emmys in 2025? Yes, it was Adolescence. Okay, question 22. Football now, or soccer if you call it that. Who won the 2024 to 2025 Champions League title? It was Paris Saint-Germain. Okay, question 23. By what name did US President Donald Trump call the 2nd of April? He called it Liberation Day. Right, question 24. Which underwater creature was captured on video in its natural habitat for the first time in 2025? Did you see this? It was the colossal squid. Until now, they'd only found dead, washed-up specimens. Okay, question 25. Something unprecedented occurred on the Billboard Country Digital Song Sales chart in 2025. What was it? An AI song reached #1 for the first time. Blimey. The song was called Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust. Okay, we're halfway now. Question 26. Who became the youngest world darts champion at 17 years old? It was Luke Littler. Well done. Right, question 27. Who was elected Mayor of New York in 2025? It was in the papers a lot. Yes, it was Zoran Mamdani. Question 28. 2025 marked the 250th anniversary of the birth of which celebrated female writer? Have a guess. Yep, it was Jane Austen. Okay, question 29. What was the name of the hurricane that devastated Jamaica and Cuba when it made landfall in October? Yes, it was called Hurricane Melissa. Nasty. Okay, question 30. In rugby union, who won the Six Nations for the 19th time? Well, I'm so happy for them, it was France. Okay, question 31. In what month was Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney sworn in? Yes, it was back in March. Right, question 32. What is the name of the record-setting Fabergé egg which was sold in auction in December? It was the aptly named winter egg. I don't know if you knew that. Question 33. Which 2 European countries joined the Schengen area on the 1st of January 2025? It was Bulgaria and Romania. It's Not really that interesting, but good for them. Okay, question 34 now. Which heavy metal singer did we lose in 2025, mere weeks after playing his final concert? Yes, sadly, it was Ozzy Osbourne. Question 35. What connects these political figures? Jair Bolsonaro, Nicolas Sarkozy, Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner, and Sheikh Hasina. Yes, they were all sentenced to prison in 2025. Okay, we've got a follow-up question now. Question 36. How long did former French President Nicolas Sarkozy spend in prison for campaign funding dodginess? It was 20 days, and apparently he's going to write a prison memoir. Well, I'm sure it was terrible for him. So, next question then. Question 37 now. Where in the White House did Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky have their very public falling out? Yes, it was in the Oval Office. It was described by some of the press at the time as an ambush by President Trump. So on the topic of names mentioned in undisclosed evidence files, question 38. Mountbatten Windsor is the surname of a disgraced royal who was the man formerly known as Prince. Yes, it's Andrew. Yep, let's move on. Right, question 39. $1 million was offered by an Indian minister to anyone who can decipher the script of which ancient civilization? It was the Indus Valley Civilization. The Indus script is still unknown. Love that stuff. Right, question 40. Which driver won the Formula One Championship on his debut season? It was Lando Norris. Okay, question 41. Which country won the Eurovision Song Contest in 2025? It was Austria, with something instantly forgettable, I'm sure. Right, question 42. Serious question now. Which month saw the signing of the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, which so far appears to be holding? Yes, it was in October. Question 43. Oscars now. Which film won the Best Picture Oscar in 2025? It was Anora. Has anyone seen it? Do you like it? Okay. Right, question 44. Which museum was the target of a brazen daylight robbery in October? Yes, it happened at the Louvre. You might remember seeing the photos. They made off with jewellery from Napoleon's imperial collection, among other things. Right, question 45. Which European countries were hit with a massive power outage in April, causing chaos for hours? Yes, it happened in Spain and Portugal. It also hit Andorra and parts of southern France too. Right, question 46. The mass protests that shook parts of the world in 2025, ousting governments in Nepal and Madagascar, were known by what name? Yes, they are the so-called Gen Z protests. Question 47. What sequel was released in 2025 to a 1984 mockumentary where the amplifiers go up to 11? Yes, it's Spinal Tap 2. The end continues. Okay, question 48. Which golf in the Western Hemisphere underwent a name change on the 9th of February? Do you remember? It was the Gulf of Mexico. It was renamed the Gulf of America. I'm not sure if it's really taken off yet though. Okay, question 49 now. What is Oxford Dictionary's 2025 word of the year? Do you know? It's rage bait. They define it as online content deliberately designed to elicit anger or outrage by being frustrating, provocative, or offensive as a way to increase traffic to or engagement with a particular web page or social media content. I see. Okay, so question 50 now, the final question. What was described by a tech company as having PhD levels of intelligence? Do you know? It was ChatGPT-5, as said by OpenAI founder Sam Altman. Well, Sam, it doesn't always seem like it. Okay, so that's the end of our 2025 quiz. How did you get on? We couldn't include everything, so what moments stand out most to you from the year? Let us know in the comments. And also like and subscribe if you're interested in more quizzes. Thanks for joining us, and we wish you health, happiness, and good fortune in the year ahead. Cheerio!